This morning I was going over all the NBA draft picks from 20 years ago because I'm a loser and that's what I do with my free time now. But currently I'm wearing a Charlotte jersey, a LaMelo jersey, but I could not help but notice going through all the years how bad Charlotte is at drafting, like unbelievably bad. I think they hit this year with LaMelo, but Charlotte fans beware, this is not going to be a very fun video. And I kind of want to look at what the team the Charlotte Hornets could have had. And obviously there's a million variables involved. If they got one of these players, they wouldn't be as bad and they wouldn't be in a situation to get some of these players. I know that, but if they would have gotten one or two of these guys, and where I think they're started at was 1996 when they drafted the late and great Kobe Bean Bryant and traded in the Los Angeles Lakers. We know the story. He went on to be one of the greatest players of all time, but I'm not really going to count that. We're going to look more recently from 2013 to present day. And even looking at 2011, they drafted Kemba Walker. He was an amazing player for them, huge for Charlotte, but Jimmy Butler and Klay Thompson were still on the board. But I think Kemba was so good that I'm not going to really count that. So we're going to look from 2013 on. Starting in 2013, they had the number 4 overall pick and they picked Cody Zeller. But on the board, most notably, was Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he was picked with the 15th overall pick. And yes, that's right, Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time MVP, the Greek Freak was still on the board and could have been a Charlotte Hornet. I mean, this just has to hurt for Charlotte Hornet fans, but it doesn't stop there, it only gets worse. In 2014, they picked Noah Vonleh at number 9, and on the board, there was Zach LaVine, who was chosen at 13, Bogdan Bogdanovic at 27, and Nikola Jokic was picked at 41. They could have had any of these players, and less notably, Nurkic, Gary Harris, Capella, and Jeremy Grant were still on the board, but I think they would have chosen all of these players over Noah Vonleh. This takes us to the 2015 draft where they picked Frank Kaminsky at 9, and the Devin Booker was chosen at number 13, a legend at Kentucky, the 70-point game, and also on the board was Kelly Oubre, Terry Rozier, and Montrezl Harrell, but I'm sorry, it just keeps going on. I could not believe how many All-Stars they picked up, and so far we have Cody Zeller, Noah Vonleh, and Frank Kaminsky. Moving on to 2016, they picked Malachi Richardson at 22, and this one wasn't as bad, but Pascal Siakam was chosen at 27 and Malcolm Brogdon at 36. They definitely would have rather had both of those guys than Malachi Richardson. Looking at the 2017 draft, they picked Malik Monk at number 11. But on the board, just 2 picks later, Donovan Mitchell was chosen. And then the very next pick, Bam Adebayo was chosen. John Collins, Jared Allen, and OG Anunoby were also on the board. And Malik Monk, he was amazing at Kentucky. But I mean, just looking at all the past drafts, it seems like they would be getting so much of their time into draft analysis because they've missed year in and year out. 2018, they pick swapped Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and got Miles Bridges. And honestly, I'm going to count this one as a wash. I really don't see this being too bad. Miles Bridges is a solid player. I mean, would they rather have Shai? Maybe, probably not. And there isn't too much in this draft because all the other ones, they've been multiple-time All-Stars, scoring champions, Rookie of the Years, MVPs, Defensive Player of the Years. But when we get into like 2018 to recently, the players don't really have a time to build that high of a resume. But Michael Porter Jr. was still on the board, and would they rather have Miles Bridges, Michael Porter Jr.? I don't really know. I'm not going to hold too much against them. And same goes for the 2019 draft. They picked PJ Washington at 12, and right after them, Tyler Hero was chosen at 13. Tyler Hero was shown to be a very, very solid player, and I think the Charlotte Hornets would have loved to have him. But in 2020, everyone smile for the Charlotte Hornets fans. They drafted LaMelo Ball, but not only did they finally get a draft pick right, they are treating him horribly. They're not giving him any minutes, and you're the Charlotte Hornets. You're not good. You're fighting for a 10th seed, a 9th seed, maybe slip into the playoffs somehow. Why are you not developing your highest potential player? Why do you keep refusing him to give him minutes? If he has a game where he has a lot of turnovers, why are you pulling him out of the game? Like, does it really matter? I mean, I know they're trying to win now, but not really. I mean, just try and develop LaMelo Ball. I mean, he's the bright spot of your guys' future. Keep him in the game, please. Obviously, nobody's perfect in the draft and teams are gonna miss, but it just seems Charlotte misses year in and year out. And I'm not talking about like the huge prospects like Jokic that were at like 41. That would be a really, really hard reach for them to pick with like the number 9 overall pick. And so I get those, but when they miss someone by 1 or 2 picks and they draft an absolute bust, and then there's a multiple time MVP picked right after them, this is just where I see, I just think they were doomed after 1996, and 2011 wasn't bad, but most notably, the Charlotte Hornets could have had 1, 2, 3, multiple people because, I mean, they would have had different draft picks, but Giannis, Jokic, Devin Booker, Siakam, Donovan Mitchell, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero on their team. I mean, even if they got 2 of them, this team would be so much better, and I think their whole fortune could have changed. They could be a legitimate contender, and people would want to come there. I don't know. I just feel so bad for Charlotte Hornets fans. I know a lot of people are bad at drafting, but as I was going through, they were definitely the worst. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed daily basketball content, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Peace!